Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message for Leo tonight. Know that energy is fluid. The roles could be reversed. Always interpret the message as it best resonates with you. If you're new to my channel, know that I like to look at everything. I don't just like to look at what goes on the surface, like what your person did do, what they're going to do. I like to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, see how they play out as karmic themes within your experience. I like to dive deep. It gives you an opportunity to see things from a different perception, and that allows you to break karmic contracts. It allows you to stop karmic loops. It allows you to actually transcend the limitations of your own mind, which is what healing is all about. All right, now if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you must like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always the underlining energy that is influencing why everyone's doing what they're doing. If you're someone that's in need of shadow healing, definitely check out my description box. There you'll find my Patreon with all my subscriptions, but my shadow healing coaching program includes inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to heal the effects of trauma when we have lived in experiences that shake us to the core. Understand it affects our nervous system. It affects the way that we think. It affects the way that we react and respond. And so in order to really heal, it's not just healing the mind, it's actually doing the work, and the work is shadow work and all those other things that I include for just $7.99 a month. So if you're someone that keeps reliving the same experiences that make you feel limited, make you feel not good enough, make you feel as if that there's actually something wrong, well, again, healing is possible. Okay. Now let's see what that underlining energy is. And remember, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write this word that I pull in the comment bar. All right, let's see what it is. Okay, fear. Fear. I feel like you're connected to someone that, again, when they think about relationships, it just creates a lot of fear. They don't trust people. They don't trust themselves. There's someone that looks really good on the outside, like I feel like they have a good job, and they can present themselves really well. But a person that has grown up in where it's been imbalanced, just they watched financial problems, they watched relationship problems. It was not supportive to their emotional needs, their psychological needs. Well, again, then we're always compensating, and we're compensating by fixing unconsciously. And so I feel like your person, they tend to not want to get into a relationship, because when they get into a relationship, they give too much. And when they give too much, it always winds up with the same type of karmic theme. And that's when that makes them feel as if, abandoned, feeling not good enough, feeling victimized, feeling betrayed. Again, all these lower energies. So there's a part of this person that wants love, but doesn't believe that they can have love, or every experience that they've experienced with love that has always brought some sort of, again, negative emotion. So this is the underlining energy, and this isn't really good, obviously, because every time we do something from a place of fear, we will never get a good outcome. Unless, like, literally a bear is running after us, or like we're in survival mode. But aside from that, when we're afraid to psychologically be open to love, then we continually self-sabotage ourselves, and we continue to relive the karmic theme of shame. So this is why this person is fearful, because it's like, I feel like they built a facade of who they want people to perceive that they are, and they actually can trick themselves into believing that they're that persona, but that's not really who they are. That there's wounds there that are masking this person's gifts, as well as things that need to be healed. So let's see what's going on here. Being called to like look at the triggers first. Oh, too many. Too many. So there's it's when a lot pulls out, it could mean that this person is just full of triggers. So no matter what you're gonna say, they're gonna be triggered, because when we come from a place of fear, it's because we actually feel as if like we're not strong within ourselves. And again, we would have formed a lot of spiritual blocks that create a lot of behaviorisms that are sabotaging. Again, argument. So it's again, this person doesn't know how to communicate, and they also don't know how to listen. They hear through the filter of their spiritual wounds. So everything, like, it's like that's a survival stance, that's a protection stance. So the way that you speak to this person is imperative if you want, but like, to even get along, because they look for it. See, we see what we look for. So if we don't feel good about ourselves and we feel like people don't like us, we feel like we're not deserving of love, then we're actually unconsciously looking for certain words. And so you might be someone that's just very direct, but they again take everything extremely personally. Like you're starting an argument with them where you're not, you're just, it's again, it's your approach, forgotten. So again, this person has fear of abandonment. So it's almost like they had this perception that you were going to chase them, that you were going to give to them. And so they're out of balance. They're used to being with lower hanging fruit and having people like overgive, abandon themselves to give to them. So they don't really have to give that much. And you didn't do that. So when you didn't do that, it's like, made you feel forgotten. But meanwhile, I feel like they made you feel forgotten about, like that you were unimportant, used to dealing with a certain type of person. And people that grew up without that emotional support, they don't know what to look for. So they actually try to give the person what they want to a fault when they're not healed. And this is what this person is used to dealing with. So, they try to play the game, and it kind of didn't work out because you're not that person. It's again X factor. So, and then there's always like, you never really felt like they'd let go of the last person. And the irony is, when they're in a relationship with that person, they're not actually even in a relationship with that person, because they're never satisfied. They might be satisfied for a day, a week, but or until like the passion runs out. And if the relationship is just built on passion, it's not. There's nothing to hold the relationship together. So this person doesn't feel good about themselves, so they play a lot of games, and so, like, to create this narrative that they are perceived as more desirable because other people want them. And they also know that people that don't feel good about themselves, they are going to fight for that person, because they don't, the relationship is more of an attachment than it's actually a relationship. It becomes like ownership. And that's because this person feels inadequate. So it's almost like there's a narcissistic energy here. Is again, I'm going to manipulate you to get what I want without being emotionally vulnerable, but I'm going to make you emotionally vulnerable. I'm going to seek out someone that's sensitive and soft, and in order to create this, again, in children. So it's again, I feel like that if this person acts like a child, and if this person has children, they always, I feel like the kids always came first to a fault. Not saying that your children shouldn't come first, but it's almost like when there's no respect in a relationship because everyone else is important. The children are more important, everything else is important. So it is like unconsciously you're being told, know your place. know your place. And so it creates this toxic environment right off the bat. So we have to always look at the hidden truth. Even though that we see this, it doesn't necessarily mean that this person doesn't care. Remember, only God is perfect and no one loves perfectly. We think that we love perfectly, but it's like we're learning what that looks like. We're learning what unconditional love is every day. And sometimes it's not through just our soulmates, but it's through our friends, through our experiences, through life. So the hidden truths are they love you. And that's why I said that, because I felt like this person's a narcissist. But I do feel like in their way, they believe that they love you. They just feel like inadequate. I want you. It's again, there's a lot of passion in this, um, in this connection. But and so understand this could be something that you feel is like a past life karmic mate. And so they're 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 learning what love is through you, that past life connection. It's a spiritual connection. It's one that it doesn't logically make sense that you meet a person, they feel like home. You know, that they complement you, that the signs and synchronicities of this type of relationship are all around, always directing you that there's definitely a divine hand in it, but that's because there needs to be healing. I mean, and this is just from this person's perspective. You wouldn't be attracting this person unless you had spiritual blocks. We're just looking at it from this perception. That's why they say that there's a fine line between love and hate. If a person isn't healed and they believe that their relationship is like an extension of themselves, like somebody that's going to make them appear better, look better, and then, you know, you don't live up to that. It's not that just that the relationship doesn't work out. This person's full sense of reality actually isn't working out, and that forces them to have to look at themselves. And believe me, they've created walls and worn a lot of different masks to cover that. That's where they have detached from, that's where they disassociated from, and this always creates extremely toxic relationships. I feel you leaving me behind. Yeah, because there's a part of you that I feel like you're not changing. You do everything to try to manipulate me, but you don't change. It's the same thing. And it's like because you don't want to have your heart open. You want to strategize, you want to manipulate, you want to play games. And then when I say something, you want to blame me. But the whole time you're the ones that insecure. And I've gotten to a point of where I feel disgusted and really getting impatient in like the fact that you don't do anything to really change when meanwhile you're acting like you're impatient with me. And you do so because you act self-righteous. But really, the more that you try not to think about me, the more obsessed you become. And so really what it comes down to is narcissists feel like they're inadequate and they always feel like they need to be perfect. And really this person doesn't want to feel when they're in regret because of their lies and their illusions, you know, where really they've created that mask. So, I mean, maybe one more just for kicks. I wish I could take back my words. So again, this person thought that they were going to manipulate. They thought that they were going to control. They thought that they were going to, you know, that the love couldn't be broken. And what they see is like, it's that they've damaged the relationship. They sabotage the relationship. And that's because they don't really believe that they can have love. So we go even deeper and say, well, what's the point? Or is there any more information? Or what type of relationship is this? I see you working to create change, and I'm proud of what you are accomplishing. I want to work on a mission with you. So this person feels like they're supposed to be with you. And there is kind of twinny, flamey type of energy, and that's the only type of, you know, when we have deep-seated inner child's wounds. It means that we've formed habits and behaviorisms that are in alignment with those core beliefs. And we hold on to them like armor, like they become part of us, or so we perceive. We wouldn't be able to learn balance. So your twin flame has gone through very similar traumatic experiences as you, only they learned how to survive psychologically and emotionally through different means than you. So they have acquired different gifts than you. And so they also have spiritual wounds that are different than yours, but for the same reason. So unconditional love and the passion of I love you, I want you, which we saw. Well, again, that's we don't stick around to deal with this harsh energy. Like again, someone that's going to trigger us, someone that makes us feel unworthy, somebody that we stop and we really think and we dive deep. And so we wouldn't learn how to compromise. We wouldn't learn how to change our perception because again, those perceptions are armor. They keep us protected, but they don't. They keep us locked into this perception that we can't have, that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy enough. It keeps us in this perception that we're separate from our creator, and we're not. Our creator is inside of us. And how we give and receive of love through our free will is really how to be that expression of unconditional love. But we can't do it unless we're a clear conduit for spirit to speak. And we have these inner child ones that aren't integrated, but then we keep reliving the same type of karmic themes that keep us in a place of limitation. Well, I feel you pulling away, and it triggers my fears that you'll leave me for good. This person has a fear of abandonment, and we keep seeing that all through the reading, but then we don't see them change, you see? So there's a thing called scared stupid. And so if a person has spiritual blocks from experiences that they've lived, they actually tend to transcend back in time when they go through similar experiences, reacting and responding the same way. That's what a karmic loop is, which is what makes a person say, well, I really can't have whatever they're trying to acquire, when really they can. They feel like they can't. They have to do something different. They say mental insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. We all tend to do that. But understand the only thing that would trigger this person, and trigger is actually good in this situation because it's scaring them. It's making them look at their behavior and saying, wait a minute, like, why don't I believe that I'm deserving of love? Like, if I don't get it together, this person's going to leave. I wouldn't stick around for this. It's making them look at their behavior, which when we live in survival mode, we don't look at our behavior. We only care about ourselves because on a psychological level, we again we fear that we're actually going to die. The psyche doesn't know the difference between physical death, emotional death, or psychological death. I'm praying you'll come back after everything that's happened between us. I worry that you won't forgive me and allow me another chance. And so that's really like what this is all about. It's all about forgiveness on so many different levels because like when we hold on to anger and resentment, we tend to recreate the same undesirable life experiences that we went through that made us be angry and resentful and not want to forgive. So that, again, the only energy that we can really integrate to heal that is unconditional love. So we get that with the soulmate twin flame. It's like we go back into the experience. And it's not that the experience doesn't hurt. The karmic theme plays out as this experience, and that karmic theme is like, I can't have love. I can't really have that. It doesn't work out for me. I need to play this game. I need to strategize. It's where, no, you just need to be you. And so every time that this person does all that, and the fact that you're not playing and they still have feelings. They're like, wait a minute, this isn't a game. Like, why am I doing this? It's almost like it's like a child, the child stuff. Whatever the age that the trauma happened in is actually when a person reverts. So when you're like, this person's so immature, well, if they were abandoned when they were 8 years old, they might actually revert back to having some of those behaviorisms without even knowing it. It's like, don't listen to other people, trust yourself to know the truth. It's again, I feel like both you and this person then need to do that, because it's again, obviously, it's not an easy relationship. So, if you shoot your mouth off and complain about your person, then, don't expect your friends and your relatives to be happy about it. It's a choice to be in a twin flame relationship. You got to know, what you're getting into, because you automatically feel the connection, you feel the chemistry, but you also know that this person plays the games. They need to heal, they need to do their own healing. And you are supposed to help them do that if it's a real twin flame unconditional love. And that is also not just through friendship and love and integrating these higher Christ consciousness of forgiveness and compassion and all that's derived from Christ, but it's also from grounding and creating something, birthing something together, not a baby, but sometimes it's a baby, but really birthing an idea that contributes to humanity, to be a real true expression of unconditional love. Because we wouldn't learn how to compromise otherwise. We got to have a focus, and that focus can't be on ourselves. It's got to be on something outside, because if it becomes on ourselves, we get triggered and take things personally. I'm feeling controlled by people around me and I don't like it. It's pushing me to find my power again. So it's again between you like not giving in and holding to your stance. And I feel like, and to them, like feeling you pulling away and then also not liking being controlled. They're actually looking at the people in their life and saying, wait a minute, like, why aren't I open? It's like, I'm not open because I've been trusting certain people around me, and those people don't have my best interest at hand. It's like, so it's making them look and see how they've changed and what they want. It's not just, again, the soulmate twin flame relationship makes us step into the best version of ourselves. And so what I feel is that this person wasn't really even living their truth. They were living by old tapes that were played from family, and they were probably still around those people and other people that had the same similar energy. So they were still living that same karmic theme, where this experience has made them do work on themselves without them actually volunteering. I don't believe that this was voluntary. They wanted to play games. They thought it was going to play out a certain way. They thought you were someone else. They've never had this type of relationship before. So it's created a lot of awareness. Now, what we can ask, obviously, is why would you attract a person like this into your life? Like, and I don't say that like facetiously, but you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So when a person has a lot of wounds, which we see here, mainly because of their environment, how they grew up, and then again, not venturing out, creating new experiences, never getting any different perceptions. So again, you're someone that's a very different twin flame, has opposite energy. So I believe that you're someone that's very creative, intuitive, good with people. This person's none of that. So again, and it's mainly because of how they feel. However, you have wounds too. What is spirit supposed to do? So trying to tell you, but like supposedly that way, not supposedly, he's telling you what needs to be healed. Security and safety comes from yourself. That's an inner child wound of not feeling safe. So I believe that this person created that, which triggered you, where you're like, no, I don't want to go back to that place. You had did enough healing to be like, I definitely know the difference, and I am not going to, I'm not gonna jeopardize my safety. And in that, it's like the toxic cycle with you and this person can't continue whatever game that they play. And what they see is they don't want it to continue. They don't want to operate this way. Belittled, making like growing up in an environment where you didn't feel not just safe, but it's because that there was something wrong with you. Like, I feel like for a lot of you, you were like just sensitive, shy, needed a little bit more like support, emotional support, and the environment wasn't capable of giving you that. For some, you could have grown up in an environment where there was only one parent that they just worked all the time. So it's like not even that the parent didn't love, they did the best that they could do. We look at things from the child's self, but nevertheless, we don't feel safe because we don't feel like someone's there for us. And hope, and like not really having hope, because when we keep seeing the same situation over and over and over play out, it's because there's a lack of ground. And so we don't want to get our hopes up high, so we don't try. So believing that, your security comes from something outside of yourself was the main one. You gave yourself that security, and you gave your security by, again, banking on yourself. I mean, hope is like faith. It's a bridge that connects us to being able to like have the idea, the desire, into actually manifesting it. If we don't have hope, we're not going to try. So I feel like when you were belittled, someone took your hope away. That could be, again, just a parent that has a lot of anxiety, I feel like. And so they questioned everything. And that made you feel like there was something wrong with you. So again, now attracting a person that you do have feelings for, but the first memory of love is with mom and dad. And so, or the caregiver, whoever raised you, what you consider. And so if it was that there was something wrong with you, then every relationship unconsciously we're going in feeling like that we're inadequate. So that's what you and this person have in common. And so it's again that the environment that you grew up in. And so we have to integrate it. And we can integrate that energy through. I'm going to pull 3 from here. I don't know why I'm getting hold to pull 3 from here, and then also pull in the spiritual message, because a lot of times when we're in a connection like this, it's draining. It takes a lot. So what change of perception can we integrate to actually balance out our energy? Again, sacrifice, surrender. So it's, again, to me, it's like about like coming to a place of surrender. When you are dealing with a soulmate twin flame, there's a lot of run or chase, or there's a lot of wanting to control, there's a lot of triggers. And so surrender means that we come to a place of just unconditional love. But in order to surrender, we have to let go of the past. We have to actually integrate it. So I would say surrender to the fact that, that this person is your person, that there is those deep feelings. However, it's also, in order to heal, you have to let go of the resentment, the anger, again, all those perceptions that are keeping you in a place of limitation. And that could be, I'm not safe, I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough. Obviously, those are places to start, because this relationship has created the awareness for you to say, hey, wait a minute, why aren't I like deserving of love? Like, who wrote this narrative? Is that really what I want? Is that really what I believe? It's to put it down, is to it's to, like I said, a lot of times it's like releasing ancestral karma. And so what we also hear here is martyrhood. Like, so like it's not about um being a martyr. It's about like because martyrs are just they sacrifice for other people, it gives them a purpose, and that's not why we're down here. We're down here to be an expression of ourselves. And I how triggered that is, again, what used to work for this person is no longer working for them anymore because of the people and situations in their life. But they didn't have a contrast to worth anything to compare to before you. And so and again, finding truth and justice by being true, and also not just letting go, but forgiveness, making amends. Again, because that these are real spiritual blocks. When we have a root chakra imbalance, when we have a root chakra imbalance, we don't feel safe. We don't feel connected to the world. We don't feel connected to our body because we're in our head all the time trying to figure things out. So it's again that because at one time that was the narrative, that is what this person lived. And I believe you live that way too on some level. And so now it's about, in order to really heal it, you have to integrate it. And integrating it like the first part of it is again like letting it go, like surrender, actually surrendering, because a lot of times we can't even like let it go. We're like holding on to it, like, no, I'm not like it becomes our shield. Like if I know exactly where you are, I'm holding on to it instead of like whatever happened, I'm letting it go, and I'm making amends with it. And and dogma, I feel like on this card is also like finding like a grander source to put that energy in. So whether that's God, whether that's a universe, it's it's to actually to to integrate those deep spiritual wounds at it's the most basic beginnings point, because I believe that this person hasn't done any healing, and I believe that there were certain things that you needed to heal, but I do believe that you heeded the call to it. That's the difference. At one time, your energy matched this person, and then you exceeded this person. You evolved further than this person. Now that has triggered this person to actually be like, I feel like you're leaving me behind. I need to get it together. I need to get it together. So we end off by saying, again, if we're going to make this relationship work, what is the energy we need to pull in to really balance it out? Because a lot of times, if it's a soulmate twin flame relationship, we could be like, no, I'm not going to do it. But there's so much chemistry and passion and unconditional love for the person. You're like, I just can't help myself. And I am light. Always have hope. Again, you're getting hope again. So there's a sense that both parties need to really believe that it can happen, that love can happen, no matter the ordeal. I have faith in a better future. Again, faith is the bridge that connects us to what we reap, to what we sow, to what we reap. So I turn darkness into light. So this can, again, twin flame relationship is all about transmuting your spiritual wounds, which are your shadows, into the light. And the light is just God. It's the energy of the universe. I open my heart to others and to God, and are spiritually strong. So again, opening the heart. Both parties were taught not to have an open heart. I draw light to me and shine with all my being, because you are, again, of light. So remember that all relationships and everything, that why we're here is to not just be an expression of love, but to learn what love is from all different ways, through our friends, through the things that we love, through our hobbies, through just what inspires us and stirs up our soul, and then to channel it back into the universe. And that your relationship, it's all relationships are supposed to trigger us into becoming the best version of ourselves. Sometimes they just trigger us through a very painful way. And so what I feel like, because you have evolved, you didn't get hurt. I feel like this person got hurt, but they needed to, because like I said, the way that they were operating was a bit narcissistic, which is very selfish behavior for a person that's very wounded. So it's to look at it from that way, and to also know that if they are your twin, they're going to keep coming back into your life, and you're probably going to be on and off with this person for a bit, because they still need to evolve more. But that doesn't mean that they don't love. And the whole point is, through the separation, that person still feels you, they still think about you, and vice versa. And both parties are learning that that unconditional love really does transcend all time and space, and it doesn't really matter. It can never be broken. I'm going to leave that there. If you resonated with this video, don't forget to like again and do everything that you need to do. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.